welcome race fans to another episode here at CRN with UCRL, the Fire Breathers a Throwback Cup Series, powered by Rogue Energy. And tonight, off in Japan here, trying to put on a great show here and do something a little different that you don't see very often. So I'm going to put these oval cars on a road course, and it's going to bring out a good challenge here for the drivers here tonight, as they will be driving around this 2.14 mile track. So definitely looking forward to seeing how these drivers tackle this and how they do. It's a very unique track. Obviously, there's only 8 drivers out here tonight. This is one of the more kind of difficult ways to drive a stock car. A lot of drivers used to go and just left, but tonight we're going to throw in some right-hand turns on this very unique track here in Japan. So definitely going to be a good one here for these drivers. Again, my name is Jimmy Covert. We'll be joined shortly by Carl Handwerk up here in the booth. And if you haven't already, please hit that like and subscribe, as we will continue to cover anything and everything for iRacing through all this leagues that we have on display here. So you can feel free to check us out on our channel there. But tonight it'll be all these drivers. So we have Jake Less, Chris Bouchard, Stephen Mielk, Andrew Ratcliffe, Chris Stouffer, Grady Gherkin, Matthew Simmons, and Scott Bolster ready to tackle on this track. So just a little insight on a little bit about the race here tonight. So we will be out there for, let's see, we got 58 laps, and the fuel approximately will last anywhere between 26 and 29 laps. And they do get one green, white checker event, but I believe they get 2 sets of tires. And I think, I don't know, they've done it in the past, sometimes depending on the incidents. There'll be no incidents to trigger a full course caution. So no full course cautions. It'll just be local cautions for these drivers tonight. So like your typical iRacing events for road racing, where just cautions in the corners that maybe an incident will happen. But right now out there trying to take the take the speed to the track is Matthew Simmons right there, and at number 49. I'll go ahead. I'll bring up the driver details so you know who that I'm selected on. Go ahead and bring up the track map for everybody so you can kind of see where they're at. As you see that pretzel-like track here, and it looks like the track does cross itself by a small overhead bridge. But yeah, definitely looking to be a good one here tonight. I'm very interested to see what oval driver likes road racing. I know Matthew Simmons is one of those drivers that likes getting out there on the road tracks. I know some drivers talked about buying or purchasing the track here tonight so they can race. So that's always a fun one when you get out there for the first time and driving some of these cars are just so heavy. And like right now, you see Matthew Simmons going down this long straightaway down here, and got to make that left-hand turn nice and easy, and then down into a double right-hander. So gotta make sure you get out wide, slow to get that car slowed down, turned, little short shoot there between the corners, cut the corner, and go down your next little bit here. But definitely makes things very interesting here. I'm a big fan of road racing. I used to just do ovals most of the time, but just like the challenge of going left and right. But I usually don't do it in these heavy cars. It definitely becomes challenging. You see a 49 locking it up right there, trying to get as much as he can out of those tires and car here. Right now, let's see if I bring up the tower, see if anybody's got a timer yet. Looks like 1 minute and 20 seconds, roughly, for a lap, as Jake Lush has our first time in. And that's the other thing, make sure you don't get an X or an off track during your qualifying run, or your lap will not count. So this is Jake Lush's, this is Matthew Simmons' second time around here, going down the backstretch. Nice long straightaway, but gotta give yourself time to slow down for this corner. It's a good, looks like a nice corner there. Matthew Simmons does come in with a little better time. A little different pit entry where what I'm used to as well. It's actually on this long straightaway, so it's going to make things interesting. I've never ran this configuration, so I've always done the full track with the GT cars, but after right now, let's go ahead and hop along with Grady Gherkin as he works his way around the track. He comes in with a 120.35, so not too far behind Matthew Simmons. Jake Lesh with a 119.34, so Jake out there putting some good lap times in. And it looks like 3 of the 8 drivers so far will have times in. We have, and the 5 minutes is up, so enough time to get around there, but only 3 drivers that put times in. So your pole sitter tonight will be Jake Lesh. Outside will be Matthew Simmons, and then Grady Gherkin, Andrew Ratcliffe, Chris Stouffer, Scott Bolster, Stephen Mioch, and Chris Richard out there. So I am ready to watch these guys get around here. It's going to be an interesting one to see the challenge that these drivers have, taking these really high horsepower, not much downforce. So to get these cars around here at a good speed is always a challenge. So, all right, so let me empty this out as the race is getting going. And I've already said who is here, but we'll go ahead and show the overall qualifying results. Okay, very good. There we go. So these are our grid for tonight. Front row, Jake Lesh and Matthew Simmons, Grady Gherkin and Andrew Ratcliffe, Chris Stouffer and Scott Bolster, and Stephen Mioch, and Chris Richard for your 8 drivers. So going to be a challenging one here. I know it's only a few drivers, but it's still exciting to see who can finish where. And also, before we get started here, let me empty these out here. We'll put up the ticker track map for everybody. Obviously, the driver's details. I'll get on top of Scott's car here, and we will jump on the top here so we can watch them take their parade lap. But as they're taking their parade lap, we will go ahead and see who stands where in their championship standings. So after last week, our leader right now is, it looks like it is Andrew Ratcliffe by a very narrow margin over Grady Gherkin. And then Chris Stouffer, Jake Lesh, Scott Bolster, Justin Kirby, Tim Glass, Matthew Simmons, JP Phillips, and Chris Richard will round out your top 10 in points. And Brent Kirby, Tommy Ryan, Jeff Byers, Steve Mioch, Jeff Ryan, Jeremy Little, and Trevor Hunt. So a few drivers missing some races, but right now it's still Andrew Ratcliffe just by a small points lead over Grady Gherkin. 23 points separating those 2 drivers. And we've already talked to Andrew how he was not a very happy camper about the road race this week. So very interested to see how Andrew's going to, he's starting 4th. And he didn't put in a lap time. But will that number 9 stay out there for the night? How will he finish? Can he stay in front of his competitor, Grady Gherkin, that also did not put in a lap time? So, or he did put in a lap time. So we're going to see these drivers battle it out here. It's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be an interesting first lap. But yeah, the parade lap is always a unique one, and trying to get around here and see how competitive and how hard these drivers are going to take these cars. It's just an interesting one. This is one for the books. Like I said, I was saying last broadcast with Carl that I've never watched these stock cars go around Suzuka, and I think Carl might have broadcasted here at Suzuka, maybe for one of the core races and GT races, but I've not seen myself. I have not broadcasted here, so this is a one for the books, and it's my pleasure to be here tonight with UCRL. Again, if you're out there looking for a a great league to run with. Right now, it's been announced for their next season will be the 87s, so they will park the Gen 4s after this season for a while and bring back the 87s, a classic car, great looking, always some great finishes, and these drivers have used that car before, and it's always a great time out here with these drivers. Again, fantastic set of people in league to get involved with if you're interested. So next season will be the 87s. Come on out and join the Ultimate Conquest Racing League, as they will be firing that up here in just a few short months, actually. Right now they are on, let's see, they will actually start, where are we at here? I'm going to see where we're at for our one race number 8 right now. So they still have 7. They have Pocono next week, then Darlington, Indianapolis, New Hampshire, Michigan, Phoenix, and Atlanta. So still a few races to go this season. They'll take us up to that 3rd of December. But we are green here tonight, and away they go. 51 of Jake Lesh is on the loud pedal as they head down to turn number 1. Looks like Matthew Simmons taking a peek down to the inside. Doesn't quite have position. Gotta get that car slowed down as Jake Lesh has the position here going down through these corners. They are nose to tail for these top 3. Looks like everybody makes it around the first set of corners. Andrew Ratcliffe following back, letting the drivers go. He knows his skill set here for these cars on the road track. I think just trying to go out there and survive and see if he can move up a position or 2. Chris Bouchard looks like he is, did he stop pits? It looks like he is a lap down, so he's got some work to do. And at number 28, but always fun to see the 28 wheeling dealing out there in these cars. You can see who's trying to slow down, getting around this corner here. But out front, it is Jake Lesh. They head down that long straightaway. Give themselves some time to slow down, get this car turned for that nice left-hand turn that they're used to taking, and slow down for this double right-hander. Matthew Simmons coming up on that rear bumper of 51, trying to put a little pressure on Jake, trying to make a mistake. It's going to be pretty hard to make a pass here. Really got to be confident with the car's ability to brake, slow down, and turn. And it's hard to do with these heavy cars. So all these drivers might be just looking to survive here, but doing so good so far. No major incidents here. Right now it is Jake Lesh out front over Matthew Simmons, Grady Gherkin, Chris Stouffer in P number 4. Scott Bolster sitting in 5th. Goes a little wide on that corner. There's a 95 of Steven looks to the outside. Good so far. I'm impressed on how fast these drivers are getting around here. So that first lap was by the first lap there. We had a 1:20.46, but fastest lap was set by the number 13 of Chris Stouffer. So Chris Stouffer showing that he's got some speed here as well. It's going to be looking to maybe move forward, maybe just kind of looking ahead, taking this time, seeing if the drivers in front of him can make a mistake, because they're pretty much nose to tail for the top 3. Nobody really escaping from anybody here in the top half of the field. Then back there in P number 5 of Steven Miuk was able to get around a Scott Bolster for P number 5. Scott Bolster and Chris Bouchard. Okay, my timing tower updated itself, so that does have Chris Bouchard there in P number 7. looking to work his way around, trying to get around Scott Bolster now. Not able to do so. Andrew Ratcliffe spins it around there just a little bit, trying to go around that very sharp corner. A little bit too much gas there by the number 9, spinning around. And you know that the number 9 is a very competitive driver, and he was hard on himself even before the start of this week. So wasn't definitely not looking forward to this one, but probably looking forward to get it over with, as they are now on lap number 4 of 58. Jake Lesh out front, doing a fantastic job leading Matthew Simmons. Grady Gerken going to take advantage of Andrew not being able to, his dislike of turning left and right in these cars. Maybe I can make a deal with Andrew, and he can teach me how to just do lefts, and I can maybe show him, coach him a little bit how to do lefts and rights. It's some kind of trade-off. I'd love to be as fast as some of these drivers on ovals. Jake Lesh getting it done right now. That number 51. It's good to see Jake out front, battling for a lead. Been quiet. He's had some pretty consistent runs in the ovals, but to show that he's got a little bit of speed here tonight is always good to see. Top 4 still nose to tail, so it's a good sign for a great race here tonight. Christopher trying to follow up here in P number 4, following these top 3 around. Stephen Meok back there in number 95 is doing a good job, just kind of holding his own, taking his time. Chris Bouchard has made his way up to the field 2 spots, got around Andrew Ratcliffe and Scott Bolster. This track is very challenging. Last time I ran Gen 4s on a road course with UCRL, we did Sonoma, and I had the pleasure of being out there with these drivers, and it was a lot of fun. Challenging. It was very challenging to go left and right with these very heavy, powerful cars. But Scott out there in P number 7, enjoying his evening in the Cartoons Network number 45. You wanted Jake Lesh still leading. And I am thoroughly impressed on how close that these top 4 drivers are running together. And it's really, there's so many laps remaining here, as we're only just completed lap number 5, working on lap number 6 of number 58. So these drivers still have a good hour in the car here tonight to battle with these things, and you don't want to get too aggressive, but you don't want to let your competitors go. So there's plenty of time for mistakes to be made as tires wear down, and it doesn't take long to wear tires down in these cars, that's for sure. Depending on how heavy you're on the brakes and how heavy you're on the gas, because you don't want to spin the tires up too much, so you get some good grip coming off the corners. But these drivers do a fantastic job. And this corner right here, oh, you see the 51 making a mistake. Tight. It's going to open the door for the 49 and the 46 to get by. So the 51 finally making a mistake, and the 49 is going to take advantage of that and get by and move into the lead. So new leader here tonight at Suzuka will be Matthew Simmons over Grady Gerken. Now in P number 2, Jake Lesh falls to P number 3, with Christopher sitting right there. And just like that, take away the lead. But great first 5 laps by the number 51. So just might take a corner or two or a lap or two to get some tires kind of back in order. But you can see how quickly a small mistake will drop you back. First 4 drivers running nose to tail, waiting for each other to make a mistake. Oh, and a little slip up there by Christopher, a little spinach coming off the corner. A little too hard on the throttle. Number 95 doing what he needs to do to kind of keep in pace there with everybody else. Not being too aggressive, just driving nice and easy. And then Chris Bouchard at number 28, wheeling that car around here. The 28's a wheel man. Driving the heck out of that number 28, trying to work his way forward as he's up 2 spots from the back. Go back and see how Scott's doing. And I'll have to say I am proud of the number 9 of Andrew Ratcliffe for sticking it out. He talked about just doing a lap and then parking it for the evening, but you never know what will happen. So, but the 9 is still out there giving it a go and seeing how he can maybe make himself better, and maybe next time they come to a road course have a little better opportunity to lead one of these things. But so I have to say, anybody that comes out here and runs these cars on a road course, thoroughly impressed, because it is not an easy task. Matthew Simmons out front now, and it's up to that 49 to kind of hold a pace and not make any mistakes, because the 46 of Grady Kirkin, it's pretty much what he's done all season, is run very clean races and keep himself in that points hunt for that championship at the end of the season here. But right now on that back bumper of the number 49 here at Suzuka, trying to force the number 49 into making a mistake. And sometimes it just takes a little bit of pressure, because you don't know when the driver behind you is going to decide to make a move. And the 46 continuing to run each corner and looking for that opportunity to get a better runoff, maybe brake a little later and force the driver in front of him to make a mistake. But right now, the 46 of Grady Kirkin doing a fantastic job and not allowing Matthew Simmons to run away with this one. Just want to give a shout out to everybody that's out there that's watching. Obviously, if you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe here at CRN. We're going to continue to cover anything and everything UCRL every single Tuesday night. You're out there, who do you think has what it takes to get this done tonight? Who do you want to see win this race? Now the top six of the 8 drivers are all nose to tail. Chris Bouchard has closed up on the back of number 95. And the 95 has closed up on the back of the 51. Number 49, big on the road races. I've had the pleasure of running a few team events with Matthew Simmons, and just have fun and kind of branch out and always meet new people, learn things off of different drivers, and it's one way to kind of get your knowledge out there. These drivers up front making it look pretty easy. And Jake Lesh falling back a few more spots. Jake Lesh back there in P number 5. See what happened there. Jake back there in P05 getting a lot of pressure from that number 28. The 28 looks to make a pass. Hop on top of the number 28 of Chris Richard and take a lap following the field around here is the number 51. Just right in front of him. Very heartbreaking corner here. Like a 180. Next set of corners here is a double left-hand turn. Can be pretty tricky here. It's flat and the car wants to push out, so it's really about just trying to get that weight kind of turn before you get back on the gas. But you can hear the 28 spin the tires up just a little bit as he comes up through the gears.
Just a little bit. I feel like he was just trying to a burnout contest right there coming out of the corner and trying to see how many gears he can go through with spinning those tires, as gets a little bit testy through 180R right there. But this is I'm looking forward to this for quite some time to see how these drivers can handle it. I know that's not the full track air Suzuka, but it's got plenty of Suzuka material here, and just getting to finally tune in here tonight, coming over from the Core Xfinity Series, as a few cautions there at Charlotte tonight, but it's looking interesting to say the least.
Yeah, it's been pretty interesting. Jake Lesh started off on the pole, and right here, this corner that they just went through, ended up sending it just a little bit deep, allowing Grady Gherkin and Matthew Simmons to get by, and Jake was falling back a few spots after that. And I think that has to deal with the tires probably being overheated, and you guys obviously slow down a little bit more, so the car will turn. So it might take them a little while, or maybe after the pit stop, in order to move their way back. But it looks like you're right around the 27 to 28 laps, Carl, before they head in for pit stops. But right now, it's Matthew Simmons out front, leading over Grady Gherkin. Grady Gherkin just kind of keeping that pressure on the number 49, not allowing them to walk away. These two drivers have stepped away from Christopher and Steven just a little bit, but Jake Lesh is still on the tails of the number 95 and the number 28 of Chris Richard. We always called him the wheel man earlier. He's always pushing these cars or any vehicle that he drives to the limit.
Well, I'm happy to see that the 9 is still out there. The 9 of Andrew Ratcliffe. He apparently did decide not to just start and park that thing. It looks like it's maybe a little worse for wear. See a little bang up there in the front right side, but a little battle here with the man behind the curtain here at UCRL, Scott Bolster, back here battling for 7th and 8th. But I mean, hey, he's got to get a top 10 on a road course, so he's got that going for him. But I mean, it's road course racing, especially with these Gen 4 cars, is not easy, and it's not everyone's cup of tea. But everything that you do here on iRacing gives you experience that you can use in multiple other disciplines, and just getting out here and getting experience and getting out of your comfort zone, you can learn a lot of things. As the 95 of Steven Miak going a bit wide there.
Yeah, that's a tough corner for these cars.
But nonetheless, I mean, 8 cars started the race, 8 cars still running here, as we are already 13, 14 laps into this race. So good on them for getting after it, because it looks like this thing, I mean, this Gen 4 car has got a ton of power for ovals. To put this thing on the road course, I mean, it's got to be, you want to talk about feathering the throttle and being gentle and driving like there's an egg under the throttle. Oof. I mean, you got to drive like there's a baby chick under that throttle and be really, really gentle.
Yeah, I was telling fans out there that, I had the opportunity to run with UCRL. Well, and a move is being made here. Grady Gherkin looking at that inside, not quite able to make it happen, but it could be enough to make the 49 of Matthew Simmons make a mistake. But looks like Mac is able to hold on to it here. That was a pretty good look there by the 46. Grady really looking to get a move made here on the 49. But no, go back to that run that I ran with the UCRL and these cars on a road course. But we were at Sonoma, something that was kind of known for
something that makes sense. You mean
makes sense with the older these older cars, but and it was a lot of fun. And you're right, it was a lot of easy, like an egg was underneath your gas pedal. You're on the brakes, and I was still trying to kind of learn the car as it is, and I didn't do too bad, but definitely a very challenging car to take on a road course. It's, you talk about some of the cars out there that run road courses all the time. Your Miatas and your everything else, and then maybe something like your V8s cars. I know they were just ran the Bathurst 1000. It's kind of like that, where you just really got to pay attention to how much how much throttle that you're inputting into the car, so you don't lose it, and making sure you hit them braking points to slow down, because these cars don't have ABS.
No, and really, it's not just. I mean, you're kind of killing yourself two ways by jumping on that throttle, and it's so tempting to just give it a little bit more throttle than he absolutely can. And lighten up the rear tires, and it's going to kill you two ways, as you see a pit stop here from Miak. And this is definitely funny looking at the pit stops here, as this is a bit of a cattle chute here for pit stalls. But anyway, I mean, you light up those rear tires, of course it's going to give you a bad launch, and you're going to lose speed, and you're going to lose time in your battle. But you're also taking percentages off those tires. You're taking wear off those tires. You're heating them up. So the next couple corners, they're going to be more apt to spinning and lighting up once again. So I mean, one little frustration and jumping on the gas just a little bit, because it can be very, very, very frustrating. You're getting out of these corners, and you feel the car's pointing straight. I should be able to just get on the gas. I should have some grip, but. Yeah. There's times it almost feels like you're driving with bicycle tires on the back that are just so small and not as wide as they actually are, that they should be getting grip, but they're just not, because it's just so much power to the ground.
Yeah, there's so much power. They're very easy to spin out. Obviously you get that weight shifted. It's very easy to bring the rear end of the car around. You see the 28 of Bouchard just, wheeling that thing, trying to make things work here until he gets to the pit stop. But yeah, first pit stop in the books there by the number 95. Does get back out in front of the 9 of Andrew Ratcliffe and Scott Bolster. So there's that. But Andrew, like I said, I was just talking earlier how I was basically proud of Andrew. He had himself so down last week. Before, like when we talked to him in the booth about he possibly just going out there to start the race and then park it, but to see the 9 still out there doing laps is always good to see. Give it a good old college try there to try to better himself. Maybe come the next road race, but not doing too bad. I mean, his lap times are about 2 seconds off, but he does have a little bit of damage there, and it does take a lot to get used to. Getting these cars around here, and you can see Scott Bolster in the back going off track there just a little bit as well. But Matthew Simmons still out front over Grady Gherkin, who is second in the points. And you see the 46 really applying the pressure on the 49, trying to get Matt to make a mistake and burn it up and maybe possibly get a runoff, but can't quite get the power down in order to make that pass.
And you see a prime example there. I mean, the 46 got to the inside coming off the corner and should have had the run coming out of there, but lights up the tires just a little bit, and all of a sudden, what should have been a side-by-side battle coming off the corner ends up being, 2-3 tenths for the 49 of Simmons coming out of there, and the 46 once again closes in, but it's just getting off these corners. It seems like that 49 is able to get that power down just a little bit smoother than the 46. Pulls a bit of a gap once again, and maybe Gherkin is just, kind of biding his time and settling in here, but we'll see when these pit stops come by, because pit stops can mean a huge amount here. It seems like a fairly easy pit stall for the circuit here tonight for Suzuka, but it's getting in there with as much speed as possible, getting out. It seems like it's a pretty quick exit out of the pit stops here, but a bit of a run there, and nope, Grady, you're gonna have to fall back in line. And I've seen this multiple times now, going through into the spoon curves here, that the 46 is getting a good run going in, though, but just not enough. And you see right there, Simmons slams the door shut once again, and again the 46 getting a little bit squirrely out of the spoon corners.
Yeah, and that there is, that's just the respect between the drivers, because a lot of times you see things like that on an official, and the drivers are going in there and they're sending it, so they're gonna take the bumper or a panel and spin somebody out. But these drivers have been doing a fantastic job here tonight so far, battling it out here for the lead. And even back to the back of the pack, you see Jake Lesh has made it back up into P number 3. As you can see, Chris Bouchard is following. Christopher is back there now in P number 5. Let's see what happens. Let's see. I'm not seeing anybody going off the track here. Looks like Chris Bouchard has taken the lead. Or not, excuse me, moved into P number 3. No, I hate that turn so much. Yeah. Even in the GT3 car, when they
no
got
matter what. Yeah, it doesn't seem like any car can rotate through there. Even an F1 car that's got so much downforce, it just doesn't seem like anything will turn through there. It almost reminds me of the casino turn at Monaco. It's just, you can go around there on a bicycle and you're still going to have understeer. It's such a tough corner to get all the power coming out of it too is not easy, as you can see, for these drivers. But into the pits now, Grady Gherkin from second. Looked like Jack. I'm sorry, Jake Lesh. Yeah, Jake Lesh coming into the pits as well. So this is going to be 3 out of the 8 making their pit stops. Matthew Simmons still out in the lead, but I'm wondering if this short pit here by Grady Gherkin will end up paying dividends. But man, as easy it is coming out of pit lane that quickly, I mean, that was close there with Steven Miak, and Steven Miak has pulled the undercut on Grady Gherkin, as you see right there. So the undercut, very, very big now. This is 4 laps that Steven Miak has on his tires compared to Grady Gherkin and Jake Lesh, but you see what it's done. He's been running faster times out there. Is his last lap of 120.71. Just to give you a perspective, 125.41 for Grady Gherkin his last lap out there. So new tires are playing huge dividends.
Yeah, and Steven just doing a fantastic job. Just been biding his time and been pretty consistent here through the beginning part of the race. And yeah, the undercut does definitely work for him at the moment. And right now, Matthew Simmons enjoying his clean air out front, running a 122. But it looks like Chris Bouchard is going to relinquish P number 2, and he's going to bring that number 28 in the pits. And I'm sure that that car is going to want some much-needed fresh rubber on that thing.
Yeah, Chris likes to dry the tires just a little bit. He likes to use them up just a wee bit.
I mean, there's a reason why when anybody's taking a 1 stop, he's trying a 2 stop.
So you're saying it's not the strategy, it's that he just doesn't have the tires to do 1 stop. He's burning them things up. Well, either way, that's going to be half the field now making their pit stop. And currently the leader out of the pit stops is Steven Miak. He is in 3rd place on the track. Gherkin, Bouchard, and Lesh would be 2nd, 3rd, and 4th of the drivers that came into the pits. But on the track, Matthew Simmons is the one that is out in the lead. And you talk about specialists, and we talk about them, especially when it comes to these road races. There's road specialists, and Matthew Simmons has had his speed on oval races, but this is where we expected him to shine. He's a bit of a road racer, and we expected to see him up there battling for the win here tonight. He's got 2 top 5s out of the 6 races so far in the season. So still having a pretty decent season so far. But this is his chance to get out there and fight for a win, and doing so far. But he's running this thing out all the way on fuel, and I'm wondering if he thinks this is the better strategy. Maybe he's going for one less pit stop than everybody else. Certainly the undercut, you see it right there, what it's done for Stephen Miak. He was in third and not exactly hanging with the front two. He wasn't exactly right behind Simmons and Gherkin when he came into pit lane, but he came out with a good sizable lead. Now, Gherkin has been running him down, but he also ran down Matthew Simmons. Can he get past Stephen Miak?
Yeah, I mean, catching somebody on a road course is one thing, getting around them is another. It really comes down to opportunity and how well one driver can take a corner and excel coming out of the corner. So, but Grady's been doing a fantastic job running down the 95 as the 95 has been able to kind of pull off that short pit just a little bit, and you kind of wonder if it's enough for Matthew Simmons, if the 95 is going to hold up to 46, for them to stay behind Matthew Simmons, and Matthew Simmons now going in the pits right now and taking a pit stop here.
And we're about to see how much of a difference that those short pits are going to make for Gherkin and for Miak. Both of them easily getting by. You see him going down the straightaway, and Simmons now finally getting out of pit lane. I mean, a huge difference, and even Chris Bouchard even getting on by Matthew Simmons. So, man, this is interesting. I mean, pitting here on lap number 22 is Matthew Simmons. Now, he's still going to come in again. He's still going to make another pit stop before this thing is over. Christopher is your leader currently. Yet to come into the pits. Andrew Ratcliffe and Scott Bolster at the back of the pack have yet to come in the pits as well. So maybe Stouffer trying to stretch this thing out. I don't think there's any way you're going to be able to make this on a one-stop strategy, but I mean, that's huge. That's a huge difference. I mean, Gherkin and Bouchard running at 119s the last lap. Stephen Miak running at 120. While Matthew Simmons' last lap was a 126. I mean, that's a huge difference that you're losing lap after lap. And that's not going to be a fast lap there for Miak, because he goes a bit wide through the spoon corner, but gets it back on and going to keep in front of Grady Gherkin for the time being.
Yeah, and there's no incident or level here for these guys tonight, so I don't think there's nothing that's going to pull out a full course caution or anything here tonight as well. So coming in on that halfway mark, and right now Chris Stouffer is your current leader with Stephen Miak out there up front, being followed very closally by the number 46 Grady Gherkin. Chris Bouchard trying to do what he can to catch up, and then Jake Lesh there in P number 5. It's off in the dirt.
Nice save there by the 51. I thought for sure he was going into the tire barriers, but he does save it. Keeps it in front, and did not even see that, but he is actually in front of Matthew Simmons as well. So that is amazing. I mean, Simmons dominating out front and holding back Grady Gherkin for the longest time, but waits a long time to come into the pits, and it's 7 laps later than Stephen Miak. 3 laps later than Grady Gherkin and Jake Lesh. And I mean, in 3 laps, he lost tons and tons of time, and now you see him coming up. Actually, this is Gherkin coming up behind Miak. Both of them struggling going into the spoon corner and giving up time left and right here, but somehow still hanging on to it. But Chris Stouffer still out there, still chugging away, and we are getting a little bit closer to the point where you could think about maybe making this a one-stop race. I mean, is that what Stouffer is going for here? That would be a huge advantage to only have to make one pit stop here tonight, but man, his tires have got to be cooked.
Yeah, definitely cooked for as far as tires go, and what I was getting off of laps for their pre-race was right around 26 to 29 laps. So, they're probably at that window. Maybe some of those drivers that have been in already have, they're going to stay out for the rest of the time. But you see that they keep locking it up, and that's going to cost them some time there. But able to stay on the track.
Yeah, keeps it off that kitty litter on the outside. That would have been a lot of time lost if he gets out there and just spins his tires a little bit. But it looks like Gherkin finally going to get around Miak and move himself into second place overall. But I mean, this is a race here. If you know ahead of time how much these tires drop off, which clearly they drop off a ton. I mean, you gotta look at this race as a two-stop race, and you gotta split those stints in half. I mean, he said he can get upwards of maybe 29 laps on a tank of fuel. But if you know that regardless you're locked into a two pit stop race, you gotta split that thing up right into thirds so you can get the freshest tires out there the longest amount of time.
Yeah, that's what I would do. Obviously, if you know that you gotta stop twice. There's nothing out there that's gonna slow this thing down. As far as saving fuel, I mean, they're already trying to get as much speed down most of these straightaways, so not too much coasting going down in the corners because of how much time they need to brake to stop these things. But yeah, still Steven's still kind of holding on to Grady there, but Chris Stouffer's still out front here on lap number 26. We'll see if he's going to come in here on the halfway mark, or if he's going to manage to stay out there a little bit longer just so he takes less fuel. And anyway, if you get out to the front, it's always good it always feels good to get out front and be the leader for a little while, even if it's for a few laps.
And here comes Christopher from the lead. He is going to come in and make his pit stop, and you see how tight this little pit stall is here. And I guess it's probably good that they only have 8 cars out here, because I don't know where you put them all. I mean, this thing is probably only long enough for about 10, 12 cars. So it's a little lower field. But you see now, again, Stouffer came in from the lead. You see it's starting to bunch up here at the front. But now out comes Stouffer and goes from first all the way back to 6th place. Now he's going to have the freshest tires in the field by quite a lot here. So we'll see if he can start making up that time and getting towards the front. Chris Bouchard, one of the fastest laps of the race right now with a 19.76 at last time by. And that's why you see he's closed up on Stephen Miak and Grady Gherkin. And I mean, he's doing this with not that much newer tires. I mean, he's got 5 lap newer tires than Miak, but only 1 lap newer tire than Grady Gherkin. So Bouchard maybe found something, or maybe he's just using those fresh tires up because he just loves some fresh tires. He's going to burn them up.
He does love some fresh tires.
He'll be a little bit slower once it comes to the later half of this run, but for now, he's lightning quick out there.
I mean, he had some speed towards the end, right before his pit stop too. So he wasn't like too far off the pace, and he's come all the way up through the field. He started in the back. I do know that I was over there in their Discord, and you mentioned something about let me go ahead and purchase and download this track real quick so I can race tonight. So yeah, 28, getting that beginner's luck, I guess, on Suzuka.
Well, Matthew Simmons has made it past Jake Lesh. Now, at this point, again, once you're inside that pit window to make it all the way to the end, I will be coming in there and getting that last set of fresh tires, unless you stretch that first run out all the way. I'll be coming in getting those fresh tires and just focus on putting in some burner laps, those first few laps, to really set myself up for the end of this race. But battle here between Miak and Bouchard. Bouchard going to take it on the outside, but goes deep in the hairpin, and that's going to cost him a ton of time. Look at how much space he has given up to Miak by just going a little bit deep in that hairpin, getting out there on that, not even sure if it's a kitty litter out there. I think it's just grass on the outside, but loses a ton of time to both Miak and Gherkin. Ratcliffe finally making his pit stop. That will complete the first round of pit stops here at Suzuka. And I mean, gotta give it to him. He is still out there, still chugging away. Probably still not happy. Probably still wishes he didn't run here and start in park. But he's plugging away here and doing a great job, and made it all the way to lap number 27. So maybe trying that different strategy of trying to stretch this thing out to the end, but just could not make it. I mean, I think you really needed to be safe and close to that 30 lap mark to make sure you're good to go all the way to the end. But I mean, worth a shot. I mean, he's got to go 31 laps here to the end. I don't think that's viable unless he really saves. But out front, it is Grady Gherkin, Steven Miak, Chris Bouchard, Matthew Simmons, Jake Lesh, your top 5, and looks like Stouffer now moving himself into the top 5. Then Lesh is going to be 6th, Bolster and Ratcliffe rounding out your field.
Yeah, so everybody getting pretty spread out there for the most part. Grady Gherkin finally getting out to a nice little lead. Got over a 3-second lead over Steven Miak, and then Chris Bouchard giving Steven a little bit of space there by driving off the track just a little bit. And then Matthew Simmons trying to make up some time in that number 49, and maybe starting to look at the fuel gauge just a little bit to see if he can make the rest of the way without going back in the pits. It's going to be close. I don't know if somebody's going to do it. I still think they're just going to run out just a little bit short here. So Christopher would be the one to watch to possibly be able to stretch this out and to see if these drivers can actually extend it a little bit farther than needed. But yeah, so far so good, and everybody's been doing a pretty good job. I'm sure some drivers not as happy as others getting around here. Like I said, it is a very tall task to go left and right in these cars.
As you see, Ratcliffe taking a little bit of a tour through the grass right there. But yeah, I mean, it's a track that doesn't get touched much to begin with, but never touched with these Gen 4 cars. But we've made it halfway, and Ratcliffe has made it halfway, and he's staying in the lead lap. He's just got to complete this lap right here, and he will complete the first half of this race and remain on the lead lap. But man, he is fighting that car all the way to the outside. Grady Gherkin, his teammate, catching up to him, but can he hold him off? It looks like he is going to hold him off, and he will complete the first half of this race on the lead lap. I mean, that's got to be something.
That's a win. That's a win.
It's got to feel good, at least a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, just a little bit. I mean, to make it this far, and he let us know last week, how he was not looking forward to his week here in Japan here at this road race with these cars. But I think he'll bounce back next week. I think next week is Pocono, if I'm not mistaken. Double check, make sure I'm not putting out.
You are correct. Yeah, Pocono next week.
So they'll be running at Pocono next week. So, Pocono, they say drives sort of like a road course, but it is only left-hand turns.
Yeah, but it's 3 just completely distinct corners there, Pocono, and different banking, different radius. It's definitely it's the tricky triangle. I mean, it is what it is. But looks like Bouchard has reeled back in Steven Miak once again. We'll see if he can complete the pass a little bit cleaner, as I'm starting to think that's just the line for Miak. I've seen him go out there so many times now. I don't think he's blowing the corner. I think he's legit driving out there in between the spoon corners there to try and get a good run off the corner. It's worked well so far for him, so I can't see he's doing something wrong. But it's worth noting too that we are going to be halfway through the season after tonight's race. This is race number 8 out of 15. So Pocono will kind of start the second half as Miak gets a little bit squirrely there heading into the double right-hander, but not enough for Bouchard to take advantage of it. But as we mentioned, Pocono coming up as race number 9, Darlington, Indianapolis, New Hampshire, Michigan, Phoenix, and then the finale at Atlanta Motor Speedway. So, and it's the old version of Atlanta. But nothing, I don't think, is going to be anything like a test of a skill than tonight is. I mean, tonight is a test of skill, patience, throttle control, brake control. entering the corners and exiting the corners as smooth as possible. And it takes everything in your being to be focused on this one here tonight.
Yeah, and this kind of takes me back to the core Premier Series days. You know, the random track or the random car that you could race with, and definitely puts a lot of skills in check for some of these drivers. Not only road racing, but driving a heavier car with bad braking and absolutely junk downforce. So definitely it's nice to see drivers out here attempting this, and actually some of them doing pretty dang well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just the fact that they've kept it on the track this long is a testament to their skills out here. But I mean, I'm still surprised at how much that undercut has really paid off, and how much these tires drop off. I mean, again, we talked about when the drivers came out of the pits, they're running in the 119s. Grady Gherkin, one of the fastest cars on the track last lap out, and still in the the mid 21s, 21.43 that last lap out. So I mean, it's a huge drop off, and it comes off pretty quickly here. So the short pit is huge, and I mean, it's put Matthew Simmons back there in fourth. He hasn't been anywhere close to the lead. He's 20 seconds back of the lead right now. I mean, he was ahead of Grady Gherkin at the pit stop, or at least when Gherkin came in for his pit stop. I mean, 20 seconds, Jimmy. 20 seconds.
I'm trying to see where the time goes, because his pit lane time is only a second slower, so that's not, I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah,
that's
it
time,
has
but
nothing really to do with the pit stop. It's just
nothing.
the pit lap. The pit lap is really what did it. I mean,
that
3 laps
crazy.
different. 20 seconds. That is, it's unheard of. I mean, it's huge. I mean, I know Simmons has had to battle to try and get past Jake Lesh and trying to work his way back up to the front here, but man, that is just a huge difference, as Stouffer's going to come into the pits now, so he's definitely not going to go for a one-stopper. He's going to try and come in early here and just knock it out and be done with it, as Bolster going for a bit of a different line there through the
I mean, he got him around there, and he's still going forward, but yeah, definitely a little bit of off-track and error by the number 45 getting around here tonight. Scott maybe not having the best of fun, or the most of fun out there either. He's currently running back there in PE number 7, but it's the unique schedule that they have with these cars, and they're bringing the cars to a road course, for at least one race for the season. I don't think I think every series that they've ran, they've done at least one road course. So I mean, it's good to see them come out here and try. It gives the drivers that do like the road racing, the opportunity to kind of shine and have their moment. Right now, Grady Gherkin is having that moment here in the number 46. He's going to be able to close that points gap between him and Andrew Ratcliffe, as they're separated by 21 points, I believe it was, when I was going over the points as far as for championship. So yeah, this is about the best that the 46 and the 9 could get here for the 46 for the as far as separation here tonight. But right now, Chris Bouchard is in that P number 2. Steven hasn't gone anywhere in that number 95, still following that number 28 around. Just kind of allowed the pass to happen. Still sitting in a great spot as they're working around the last portion of this race. Still 24 laps to go, and it's been a good one here so far.
I mean, for Bolster, he can bitch about the schedule all he wants, but if he wants to, he's going to have to look in the mirror, since he's the one that decided to come here. So he can complain about all he wants, but he's the one that made the decision. But we're in the back half of this race at this point, as we are on lap number 35 of our scheduled 58 laps. So we're down to 23 laps to go left in this thing. So Jimmy, I think it's about time to crank it up and let everyone out there in Sierra Nation hear these tires squeal and hear these boys struggle here. A little love to hear it.
Let it rip, Tater Chip. After enjoying the sights and sounds, hearing a little bit of collision there between the number 49 and your leader, Grady Gherkin, for the lead here. So we'll go back and take a quick look to see exactly what happened there on this one. But they were just fighting hard as the 46 was looking to get around the 49. The 46 just a great run on the corner, and the 49 had to check up for not turning, so ends up spinning the 49. It's going to allow the 46 to go by to gain the lead. Now the 49 of Matthew Simmons is going to have to pit anyways. I think he is get in there and for one more stop, but that's pretty much some big chances there from the 49. Hopefully you'll see the fast repair there by Matthew Simmons, so any damages done to the 49 will be repaired as he takes his last pit stop. 18 laps to go. Grady Gherkin still out front, and we'll take a trip around his car to see if there's any major damages on the front end. It looks like he kind of escaped away there, Carl, and just kind of rolled up.
Yeah, it almost seems like he kind of drove up and under the 49 there, Matthew Simmons. But yeah, I mean, Gherkin comes out there with some fresh tires, and Simmons has been out there for a good, I think at that point he was out there for a good 10-15 laps. So the tires were not fully worn, but I mean, we rode on board there with Chris Bouchard for a little bit. You hear how much they're having to work it, especially through the long sweeping right-hander right there, and it's just, I don't think they can ever fully get on the gas. I mean, it's almost like you're driving this thing like it's a wet weather race. I mean, it really feels like what it is. There's very, very little grip out there. You can never really fully get the power down, and it's skating everywhere. It can't be fun. It's got to be a handful for these drivers, and Bouchard going plenty wide there, just staying in it, just caution right to the wind, and just right down back on the track and trying to run down Grady Gherkin. And he's been running some very quick laps, and technically the last lap was the fastest lap of the race, but since he had a few off tracks on his way to getting it, the 18.59 is not going to count. But I mean, he's running over 2 seconds faster than Grady Gherkin right now.
I mean, what's an off track here and there? He paid for the whole track. He did pay for the whole track tonight, so definitely trying to use it. The 28 wheel man Chris out there trying to get things done here tonight, and trying to catch up to Grady Gherkin. Has had a pretty good run here, and he was walking away there just a little bit. He does have a 4-second lead currently over Chris Bouchard, so Chris has got to catch him, so he's going to burn up his tires catching up to him, and then it's very difficult to pass on this track. It really comes down to opportunity, whether Grady will make a mistake for the remaining part of the race or not. But Chris really throwing around that 28 here, trying to gain some ground on that number 46. The 95 of Steven Miak definitely shown that he's got some talent in the road department. Able to be pretty consistent here tonight, and currently sitting in P number 3. Chris Stouffer with a good run so far. We've seen him lead just a little bit, extended out his fuel run there, and currently sitting in P number 4. Matthew Simmons back there in P number 5 after having that little incident there not too long ago. Jake Lesh, after beginning up front and leading the first few laps of this race, currently sitting in P number 6, and Andrew Ratcliffe is in P number 7, and Scott Bolster finds himself in P number 8, 1 lap down. So Andrew Ratcliffe still on that tail end of the lead lap with the 42 laps in the books. I mean, his teammates right there maybe pushing him just a little bit, but I'm sure Andrew's not going to give him too much of a hassle to let him go by on one of these opportunities here. But come on, like I said, like I said earlier, I'm just proud to see drivers that maybe not too happy with a road race come out here and compete and attempt it and try to get better. And Andrew's definitely had his fair share of mistakes, but he's going to move out of the way of the number 46 and let him go by, as Grady Gherkin will put him a lap down. But Chris Bouchard not too far behind. Only 2.8 seconds separate him and Grady Gherkin for that first position. And then back there with number 95, setting P number 3, Chris Stofers in 4th, Matthew Simmons in 5th, Jake Lesh in 6th, Andrew Ratcliffe in 7th, and Scott Bolster in 8th. Jake Lesh is bringing that number 51 in.
This will be the final pit stop here for the 51, and I think just about everybody, and well, actually, no, never mind. Yeah, just about everybody has made their final pit stop. Taking a look at it, I think Andrew Ratcliffe may need to come in one more time, unless I'm not calculating things right. Actually, no, he should be good. About 27 laps is what he's going to run to finish this thing out. So we should be done with pit stops, unless maybe Andrew just wants to come in early and just call this thing. And actually, him now being a lap down, he'll actually need to run 26 laps to finish this thing out. But I mean, Chris Bouchard doing anything and everything that he can to try and catch up to Grady Gherkin. He's only 2.4 seconds back, but just not enough. Just kind of scraping by right now and not getting up there to battle him for the win. But you want to talk about using up the track? He's using up those tires. He paid for those tires. He may run those things down to 0% by the time this thing is over.
You know, if anybody pays for, if anybody uses the most out of their tires, it's Chris Bouchard. Like, he will wheel any track, any car, and he burns them things right down to the end. And, you know, the thing is, Carl, as much as he slides around and pushes that car hard, he's got some serious speed. And when I do that, when I torture tires like that, I'm slow as molasses. So he's doing something right. And if he can go to Harry's school of tire wearing from Days of Thunder, I mean, he might be able to win some of these things.
I think we just need to get him back in the truck series. I think he's got to be missing the trucks. As we've seen both him and Stouffer do fantastic in the truck series quite a few seasons ago at this point. But right now, Grady Gherkin trying his best to hold him back. I mean, again, Bouchard's been half a second faster at minimum these last how many laps, and again, this last time by a 19.6 for Bouchard, 20.1 for Grady Gherkin. So Bouchard, the fastest driver out there on the track right now, and doing what he can to catch up to that 46. He's making some inroads for sure, and you see him catching really close up to him here in the hairpin. But you're just struggling so much. Just give me more, Scotty. I need more power.
I don't think he doesn't need more power. He needs more grip.
Well, yeah, he's got plenty of power.
He doesn't know what to do with it all. Like, stop giving me so much power. Like, if he ran over, like, you got a cone out there somewhere, you can run over a cone and get some engine damage. And you might have a little easier getting on the throttle and not spinning them tires up. So, but Chris is doing one heck of a job trying to run down Grady Gherkin here in the last remaining laps to make this thing a very interesting finale here. The number 95 back just a little bit, back about 17 seconds or so back from these other drivers, but setting in P number 3 pretty securely right now with Chris Stouffer back there in P number 4. And then not too far behind Stouffer is the 49 of Matthew Simmons. So Matt's trying to work his way back up through, possibly get around Chris for a 4th place finish after just was able to lead a bunch of races. Lead a bunch of laps here tonight after Jake had a mistake going in the one corner, getting by, and then just kind of kept Grady Gherkin right behind him the whole time. So definitely made it very challenging for the 46 to be up front, but and it was looking good. But that second half, and I don't know if it was in the pit stop or just that short pit, it really separated them out. Looks like we talked about. I can't talk, but definitely been an interesting one here tonight, and got a few positions winding down here to the finish to make this one here interesting.
again, a half a second faster was Bouchard that last time by, but you see it's the gap is just kind of, even though he's gaining lap after lap, it just seems like the gap is just being maintained right now by Gherkin. So I'm not sure what it's going to take for Bolster to get up there, or not Bolster, Bouchard to get up there and try and make a pass to get this thing done. But laps are starting to tick away here. We had 11 laps remaining here at Suzuka, and this has been it's been a fun one. It's been a fun one to watch for sure, and watch these drivers just. I'm sure they got to be screaming in their heads to try and calm themselves down, really, because that's what they. I mean, slow is fast, as they say when it comes to road courses here, and slowly getting on the throttle and slowly kind of creeping your way out of these corners, and just you got to be slow to turn in fast lap times here, and it's painful. It's so hard to do. It's so hard to just slowly work on that throttle and really kind of tiptoe through these corners. I mean, you get in a car, you're in a race car to race, to get after it, to drop that hammer and go. Ain't no dropping no hammers here tonight at all. I mean,
Chris
I guess pulling
tried?
out a pit stall, that's about it. And yeah, Chris has definitely tried, and he tries every time coming out of the hairpin. The way it sounds is as he just lights and tires up, it seems like every time coming out of those hairpins. But man, it is it's rough out here for these boys, but it's gonna be 10 laps to go at the line.
Yeah, 10 laps remaining here, so still doesn't sound like much, but you know, it's a long time for these drivers out here. Obviously, each lap being a little over a minute, so it's still roughly got about 14 minutes or so still left of this race, and anything can happen. It could just be one corner that you make a major mistake, or you find yourself out in that kitty litter and lose a lot of time that's needed there. And you can see Stouffer going a little wide there, and Matt just trying to close it in, try to get that angle and that runoff here on Chris Stouffer to take over P number 4. So a good battle here for 4th place between Chris and Matt. But we'll head back up front and to see where Grady's at and Chris. But it looks like Grady has pulled away just a little bit, as Chris must have made a overdriven his corner or something.
Well, Gherkin turning in another 19 lap that previous lap, and now back up to a 20.3, but a 19 the lap before that. So maybe Gherkin holding back a little bit of speed, but we'll see right here. Bouchard just going a bit wide again, and it's again, I can't say that was a miss because we've seen him do it so many times there. So it would be just kind of status quo, going a bit wide out of that corner, but. Gherkin, Bouchard, Miak, Simmons, and Stouffer is your top 5 here as we're clicking down towards the end here at Suzuka. And for these drivers, probably half the field will finally be able to breathe and maybe put up some choice fingers to Suzuka once they're done here. But it's been a battle out here, and I know later on this year there's going to be an endurance race here for iRacing, I believe, just in the GT3s. I know this weekend coming up is the Petite Le Mans at Road Atlanta. But this thing here tonight has been the FIREBREATHERS throwback Suzuka 1.5 hours, I guess. It's about close to about a 1.5 hour endurance race here for these boys.
Yeah, definitely a long time for these drivers here to go left and right here tonight, winding down. And if I'm not mistaken, there used to be a 10-hour Suzuka or 12-hour Suzuka, but I believe it's been replaced with the Fuji. If I'm not mistaken.
That's right. Yeah, you are correct. Yeah, this year it is Fuji. I think it was like an 8-hour race at Suzuka last year, but yeah, now this year it is Fuji. So I guess this is your chance right here to get the endurance racing in for Suzuka.
Yeah, Fuji, I actually enjoy Fuji. It's a lot of similarities to this track, but definitely another track that I would not run these cars at. So we're looking forward to any of those road races, those special events. It's kind of what I like to key on throughout the year, just to have fun driving the car. But these guys here, I think some of them have had some fun learning and trying their best here, doing the best they could, and maybe some doing a little better than they thought they would have, or some people doing not as good as they thought they would. But like I said, just want to say thanks to the drivers coming out and giving them a try. But ooh, something happened to Matt. Let's see what happened back there. I got a crash right here. Under the bridge.
There's a little bit too much throttle and a good save. And it's one of those things right there where the extra power kind of helps you getting it turned back around straight and pointing in the correct direction. But yeah, just a little bit too much throttle. Just one little goose like that is all it takes to get you looping around here. But this man has not been doing that. He is now enjoying himself a 3.7-second lead over Chris Bouchard, as was done anything and everything to try and catch up to the 40-60 here tonight, but just not doing it right now. And it's getting down towards the end here. It's going to be 6 laps to go here at the line, and we'll take a listen one more time to Bouchard just trying to work that throttle through this long sweeping right.
Some people go to the gym to work out. Chris races on Tuesday nights for his workout.
Yeah, and it's a workout for the arms and the legs for sure. I mean, he's been sawing that wheel back and forth and trying to figure out where it needs grip, and huge touch of the grass right there. I mean, I know we're in Japan. I know. We're not that far from Tokyo, but we don't need to be doing any kind of drifting right now. I'm not sure if that's what Chris is deciding. After this, he's going to get into some drifting competitions while he's over here overseas.
I think maybe he's going out for a Tokyo Drift Part 2 or something.
I mean, he's certainly getting plenty of experience, and I wouldn't mind seeing a next gen car go up against the 350Zs and everything else that you see, and the Eclipses and everything else that they're throwing sideways. But I mean, he's got the power to kick it sideways whenever he wants. But man, I'd love to see what those tires are once he's done. I mean, is there a negative percentage, Jimmy? I know they blow at 0, but I think he's going to be coming in with some flat tires by the time this thing is done. I mean, he's using every little bit of those tires to try and get himself home right now, but he is losing out to Gherkin. It's down to, it's actually, he's gaining a little bit. It's down to 3.5 seconds, but overall, he's going to have to make some bigger gains here before this thing is coming to an end very quickly. 4.5 laps to go, roughly.
Yeah, he's going to need the 46 of Grady Gherkin, I think, at this point to make a mistake. And Grady just got around Scott Bolster, putting him another lap down. So Scott in the back bringing things up from the rear, but still out there. Still, having to go at it here tonight at a very challenging and unique course. And it's not, you will not find this like on the service, unless another league puts it on. So, not only at Suzuka, but this setup, and a lot of the tracks that we go to, they have alternate courses that you can run as far as road courses, and there's so many different layouts to use, and it's good to see that leagues are out there and they're actually challenging themselves and putting on great races here. And I know these the drivers here at UCRL would love to have about another 10 drivers or so join them and come out here and have fun and put on great races for all the fans to watch, and just have a good time and just kind of relax here on Tuesday night. So if you're one of those people out there watching and you want to get out there and try something new, maybe something that's not the norm of the truck or an Xfinity car, You can give these Gen 4s here a good try here, as they got half the season still waiting for them here. As next week they will be at Pocono. And also they did drop announcement that they will be racing the 87s on their upcoming new season after they are done here with the Gen 4. So it'll be good to see UCRL back with the 87s, as the 87's another car that really puts on some great results in races.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know a lot of these drivers are happy to hear the 87 coming back. I know there's going to be some drivers that have maybe stepped away from the league here for a little bit that are looking forward to getting back in with those 87s. And I know there's one driver that's looking to just be done with the night, and that is the 9 of Andrew Ratcliffe. He's done it. I mean, he's taken on the challenge of running this thing all the way to the end, and he may not be loving it. I know that's what the hood says. He may not be loving it out there, and if you look at the front end of that car, definitely not showing too much love to the front end of that car, but he's still out there and still clicking away laps here and coming down to his last 3 laps or so before this thing is over. The lead is now up to 4 seconds for Grady Gherkin over Chris Bouchard, and we are about 2.5 laps away from completion here tonight, and this is going to be a very nice win here for Grady Gherkin and his attempt to get himself into the lead of the points. I mean, with Andrew Ratcliffe having such a rough race, Gherkin came in 23 points behind Ratcliffe, and these two have really been the class of the field this season, as Ratcliffe in the points lead at Gherkin 23 points back, but then you got to go another almost full 100 points, 99 points back to third place Chris Stouffer in the point standings, and then Jake Lesh and Scott Bolster running at the top 5. But I mean, it's been a while since we had 2 guys just clear above the rest of the field.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously these drivers are just bouncing back and forth, but Grady's just been really consistent, and Andrew's got a few wins this season so far, and it's tracks like this that's gonna equalize that rat race or the point race to the front here for the end of the season, half the way through, and which one of these drivers can finish this thing off. Is Grady gonna march from here, take this this more than likely victory here tonight and continue his run to the end, or is Andrew going to be able to bounce back and put some major focus on the remaining races and make this thing a 2A race all the way down to the last race? So it's going to be an interesting one. I can't look forward to each and every week to see how these drivers battle each other and finish these races up. But yeah, it's been a good one here. Grady Gherkin getting it done here so far with only about a lap remaining here as they're coming up to the
coming by to take the white flag this time by, and he's got a bigger size lead now, about 7.5 seconds, because Chris Bouchard had a bit of an incident last lap, and he seems still struggling to get that car back underneath him. But showing on my side here that he had a bit of an incident on lap number 57 to give an even bigger lead to Grady Gherkin. Steven Miak looks like he is securely in the third place to round out that podium, and be the first time I believe we talked to Steven here, as this is his first season with UCRL, and it'll be his first podium and first chance to talk to us out here. But man, a great race by him out here. Christopher in fourth, and he's had a few excursions himself, but getting it done here and looking like another good solid points night for the 13. Matthew Simmons enjoyed himself at the lead for quite some time in the first half of this race, but the second half has been one to forget for sure, and currently sitting in fifth place. But not too far behind him is Jake Lesh, trying to run him down and take away that last spot in the top 5, as Lesh was your pole sitter here tonight, but a few incidents right in the beginning of the race has put him in the back and has been fighting an uphill battle ever since. But out front, Grady Gherkin looking to close this thing out, and he will do just that. Your winner here tonight is going to be the 46 of Grady Gherkin. Chris Bouchard going to bring it home in second place. And I mean, it's probably the last thing that he hasn't broken on the car. I mean, the tires are shot. Let's be honest.
Maybe the tire blew once he crossed the start finish line.
Miak drifting it through the final corner here, but just got to keep four wheels pointing in the right direction here, and he will finish in third here tonight. Great run by the 95.
I mean, great run overall by pretty much everybody, and obviously obviously getting the finishes they wanted tonight. As far as the points race goes, I mean, Grady finished first and Andrew finishing seventh. That's going to close that points gap down. Depending on how many points, it could be, it could change hands this week. But definitely a lot of great racing out there by these drivers. A lot of challenges that some of them faced, or even out there doing something they don't quite like doing, and that's driving an oval car on a road course, and it's a very very tough challenge. But it was a good one to watch, and we'll get these podium finishers in here tonight and get their take on the race, since it's been a long one here at Suzuka.
Stephen Miak was the first one in the room. He's ready to go. He's waiting, and he's happy to be here. Let's be honest. But yeah, I mean, this was tough. It was a tough one. It was a tough test, and it was not easy just to stay out there for 58 laps, let alone knock out some good finishes here. But that's exactly what our podium finishers did here tonight. And we'll go ahead and start bringing them in here. And Jimmy, we're going to start with our third place finisher here tonight, the 95 of Stephen Miak.
Hey, Stephen, Jimmy, and Carl up in the booth. You copy?
Sorry, what was that? I couldn't hear you guys over the sound of the engine. Hang on one second. Let me turn you up.
Not a problem at all.
So, yeah, it was a good race out there. And just kind of wish I didn't flub qualifying. I think I would have had a genuine chance at the win to run a proper strategy and all that. But hopefully I put on a show for you guys, though.
Definitely was a show, obviously out there, one of the more challenging tracks of the season, trying to make these cars not only go, left all night or right, but, you're trying to get that weight transfer around. We did see you take that short pit stop there, and kind of put you in a good position. But Grady and Chris had just a little more speed, I think, able to kind of stretch it out there from you. But overall tonight, come on here, new to the league. You finished third here tonight. You've had some good finishes, and you had some great runs so far. So blending in well here at UCRL. Give us a little rundown on how your race was, and maybe what you could have did differently to maybe get maybe one of them top two spots. And I know you already talked about your qualifying, but just kind of run us down how everything went for you.
Yeah, with qualifying, I was on a pretty good heater. It would have put me on the front row at least, maybe pole. And unfortunately, I made an error in spoon, which I'm driving through right now. And I knew that I had good pace. I knew straight tire to tire, no deficit, I was going to be as fast as first and second, but I had to make a play and try to get ahead somehow. And so I decided to flip the road course a little bit and get the tires early and hope I could hold on well enough. But so with that, I'm both happy and disappointed, because I know for a fact that had I not messed up qualifying and would have been able to do a lap 20 and lap 40 pit strategy, I would have been up there fighting for the win with those guys. But at the end of the day, starting from the last, finishing third, I can't be too mad.
No, you can't be too mad at all. I mean, overall, with the level of competition, I know there's not a lot of drivers out there to compete with, but definitely the competition level is high throughout the league. And, it did show here tonight that you have some speed on a road course, so that's always a plus. So I'm sure you'll be looking forward to the next one that they throw at you. But tonight, you walk away at third place. And kind of put a staple in showing that you can run up here with these boys. So congratulations, and give you a little time for any shouts they might have in that number 95.
I just want to say hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. I know you guys are watching. And thank you guys for broadcasting this, and thanks for the league for putting on some fun races here. Hopefully, we'll get some more people in towards the end of the season, or more so for the next season. So I know with me, I'm just going to be a part-time driver, so my job is going to be entertainment without ruining other people's days. So hopefully, I can keep that up when I am able to show up.
I really appreciate you showing up and being part of the league right now, and getting a chance to talk to you. So that's always a good plus as well. So thanks for the shout outs, and we'll let you go celebrate with your friends and family.
All right. Have a good night, guys.
That is your third place finisher here tonight, the 95 of Stephen Miak. Second place tonight is going to be the 28 of Chris Bouchard. And Chris, first off, I gotta check in with you and check on your backside and make sure those tires didn't melt their way through the wheel wells. I mean, it just seemed like every time we were cued on you, you were just lighting up those rears. Talk to us about how difficult it was, and how just mentally draining, and well, just how much it pissed you off just not being able to get the power down when you really want to, getting out of these corners.
Yeah, I'm missing my truck that doesn't have any horsepower, honestly. Yeah, it was just really hard to put the power down in this thing, and obviously with my driving style, it really doesn't suit these things. And man, I kind of threw this one away, but I kind of didn't, because I wasn't able to qualify because my internet went out right before qualifying, and I was just lucky to make the race. And I thought I had a chance, and just ran out of these dang tires. I wish whatever manufacturer these tires are, I don't want to say Goodyear, but they need to be better.
Well, maybe it was, it is typically a Formula One track here, so maybe they were the wrong Pirelli compound here that you guys were running. But I mean, what was the toughest part of this track? I mean, obviously we see coming out of the hairpin here, just watching some of the replays here, getting the power down out of the hairpin was obviously tough enough, but the long right-hander we've seen just so tough, trying to get any kind of power down, any rotation going through that long right-hander. Spoon right after that, it seemed like it was a trouble spot. So, I mean, what was the toughest part out there, or is the answer just yes?
Well, I really think that right-hander was the toughest part, just getting the power down off of that chicane and just getting through that whole right-hander. I was kind of out to lunch the entire time. I'm gonna be honest, I bought this track about 3 hours ago, so I had no clue what I was doing out there, and I was just trying to wheel it as hard as I could, and friggin' tongues out. I'm drenched in sweat right now. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, Jimmy mentioned it. He did just that, and sometimes, I mean, it's the track layout was simple enough that you could figure out how to get around here, and sometimes coming in with, for lack of a better terms, blind stupidity, it works out. You don't have those bad habits of maybe overdriving the track because you feel like you've had so many laps on it and you have so much knowledge, but it's really. Tonight wasn't necessarily about driving the track; it was about driving this car and keeping this car just kind of wrangled in the entire night.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm blind, but I'm definitely stupid sometimes. So, yeah, it was a combination of fighting the car, the power, and just keeping it on this track. And man, this place is so narrow. I've only seen videos of this place and some iRacing videos and stuff like that. And I didn't realize how treacherous that turn one is going towards that first chicane. Like, there's a lot of speed to be had there, but I hope you guys got me sideways through that first turn a few times.
We've had you sideways just about every point on this track right here. I mean, you weren't sideways was you were parked in your pit lane. That was about it.
I mean, Japan is known for drifting.
And we wondered if you were trying out for Tokyo Drift Part 2 or something like that when you're out here. And it'd be fun to see the Gen 4 here go up against the 350Zs. But I mean, you talk about tight. Tell me about this pit lane. I mean, you could barely walk through this thing, let alone put a car in there. I mean, that is the smallest pit lane I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, when I got in for practice, I'm like, is there a lane here? Like, it was tight. Thankfully that we didn't have like 20 cars here, otherwise it would have been bad. But yeah, it was a little tight, especially like pit entry, pit out. Like that could have gotten sketchy if there was more cars. Thankfully like, granted, we only had like 8 of them out there, but I mean, it would have been sketchy with more, because next thing you know, someone's coming full song and some person pulls out. Next thing you know, boom, we got a big one.
Yeah, we did talk about that too. You come right back on the track. There's no there's a little out lap or anything like that you can come right out there. But yeah, I'm not even sure there was enough stalls for you guys to have much more than 8 out there, and it seemed like even the stalls themselves were not that big. I mean, they're about the size of Legends cars, because we seen some guys in their pit stalls together where they were kind of overlapping inside of each other. So it was interesting. I mean, obviously the racing on the track was phenomenal, and I mean, it's hats off to you guys for keeping it on the track as much as you did, and watching you just drift out of these corners here, even on the replay. So you kept the 4 wheels on it. You got home in second here tonight. I know you say you might have let one slip away here a little bit, but it got to feel good to just finally be done with the race here tonight, but finish in second here tonight as well.
Yeah, it was good. I wish I was able to qualify. Granted, I at least put on a show, kind of going from pit lane to second. So I'm proud to say that I made every pass clean and I didn't move or dump anyone. So I'm pretty happy about that. But if I was able to get to Grady, maybe that would have been different. But I don't know.
All right, buddy. Well, congrats on your second place here tonight. Either way, I mean, we would have loved to see what you could have done if you got a qualifying lap in here and see if you can maybe finally grab that first win of the season. But good second place here tonight. Who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
I got to give a shout out to Scott for putting this league on. I know the participation is not that great this week, but I mean, it's a track that really no one runs, so it was kind of expected to be like that. You guys for putting on the broadcast. I can't wait to watch me burn up my tires and lose this race. I don't know. Are we going to Pocono next week or something like that?
We are.
I am so looking forward to that. Pocono is
up there too.
Well, Pocono is my best track on the service, so that's going to be the one that I'm aiming for.
All right, buddy. Well, take some time and I guess cool down a little bit here. Get a paper towel, wipe yourself off a little bit after this one, because I'm sure you've done your fair share working here tonight. We've seen that wheel going back and forth plenty. So congrats on the second place. We'll let you go celebrate.
Yeah, I know. Actually, right before I leave, one time when I overshot that second chicane, my wire for my headset got caught in the wheel and all that. So it was terrible, but yeah, it was fun. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely, buddy. Congrats, man. That is your second place finisher here tonight, the 28 of Chris Bouchard. Last but not least, your winner here tonight, Jimmy, is going to be the 46 of Grady Gherkin.
Hey, Grady, Jimmy, and Carl up in the booth. You copy?
Yeah, how's it going, guys?
Well, you had an interesting one here tonight. 58 laps around Suzuka, and you walk away the winner here. Definitely the most challenging track I've seen you all drive this season so far. And I know the participation was on the lower side, but obviously you kind of think that with a very unique track and car combination. But what was the? I'm trying to think of a proper question here to give you, but your thoughts going into tonight, did you think you were going to walk away winning, or did you just want to have yourself a great finish and try to close that points gap on that championship that you're also close fighting with Andrew?
Yeah, first off, man, I am so whipped right now. That was leading into this. I was so. I ran some laps. I think maybe Sunday evening, maybe for like a half hour, just to kind of get a little feel for it. This car was hard to drive tonight, very loose off the corners. Managing that was pretty challenging. It was easy to overdrive the entries of the corner too. So you really had to be careful. I felt like I was actually better when I was behind someone. Had a heck of a battle with Simmons. Definitely apologized to him. I got into him and that first hard right-hander. I was on fresh tires, and I don't think he had pit yet, and I just didn't anticipate kind of the speed difference maybe, or I was maybe just a little impatient too. But so apologize to him. I hate getting in contact with anybody that sends someone around like that. But And Chris, knowing he was coming too, we was just talking to him when we were in the waiting area, and we were just sweating. That was a lot of work.
That was, I mean, when I seen the lap count tonight, I was like, that's a lot of laps. And I just know how challenging it is driving road. I do a lot of road racing myself, so I know the challenge of road racing. But these cars are so unique in how heavy, and they don't have the downforce, and how much y'all are gonna have to wheel wheel these things around here. And I commented on Chris just trying to push so hard, trying to catch you. Like, I think he used every single percentage of rubber on them tires to try to catch that number 46 tonight. And you just kind of made things kind of look smooth, and just, like, I don't know, maybe ignored them or something, and just was able to keep your pace going, and were able to finish with a nice size lead here. But wanted to say congratulations on a very hard fought race, and finishing on first here, and give you a little bit of time to say any thanks on that number 46 tonight.
Yeah, I'm glad it looked smooth, because it definitely was not. And we know Chris's style; he always runs real hard, and he's good at these road courses. So when he was catching me, I could see he was coming. I thought I had a bigger gap there for a little bit, and then him and Jake started battling, and I think went off a little bit, but I didn't realize how close he was to me at that time. So then I saw, and I was like, "Oh, I got to pick up the pace a little." I didn't have much more to go, but made it happen, and I was just hoping he would kind of make some mistakes, and he did. But so shout out to Chris for that second place. Shout out to Steven. That's a good finish, third place on the podium tonight. One of our newer guys, so good to see him having some good runs. Definitely Barry out there watching in the chat, and my cousin, he's out there watching too. Thanks to them for showing up watching. You guys in the booth, Scott for all he does behind the scenes with the setups and the whole league and everything, and just everybody still coming out to race. So that's about it. Oh, and hi, Mom.
You can't forget Mom.
No, she tunes in and watches, so that's pretty cool too.
Well, hi, Mom. So again, congratulations on that first, and we look forward to seeing you keep marching forward, and hopefully good results there for the end of the season with the championship, as those points have narrowed down here after tonight's race, and look forward to you seeing you at Pocono.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it.
That is your winner here tonight, the 46 of Grady Gherkin. Been a fun one here, as usual. I mean, kind of looking forward to this, and looking on the horizon for this one for quite some time, to see how these drivers would handle it. And I got to say, I mean, for the most part, it turned out exactly how I expected. I mean, these drivers had an absolute handful out here tonight.
Yeah, it's one thing to run a road course with a road car. It's another to run a road course with a car that is designed and for mostly going left. So these drivers just did a fantastic job. It's no easy feat. They run full tanks of fuel. They do things that other leagues typically don't do. A lot of leagues will usually maybe run like shorter fuel to make the drivers pit more often, but they run the races just long enough to get themselves 2 stops or even 3 stops in with the fuel strategy, and to make these tires last that long, and to get around here at the pace that they were, and for the drivers for just showing up and attempting this, if this is something that's out of your wheelhouse. Because I know if this is all I did was ovals, walking on a road course, even possibly like you heard Chris, he bought a track just for tonight, just for the league, just to hang out and participate. And it was good to that there's people out there like that. They'll go out and they'll make sure they have the material to be part of the league and do that. I know that certain leagues they do one-off races all the time, and it's very unique and a lot of fun when you find a good league that does that. So, but either way, I want to say congratulations to all the drivers, and especially Grady Gherkin for the win tonight, and Chris Bouchard and Steven Mioch for the podium finishes. So look forward to watching all these drivers at Pocono.
Yeah, and realistically, it's just sometimes you got to get out of your comfort zone. And I know there's a few drivers. I'll point to the Andrew Ratcliffe for sure that may not have had a memorable experience out here tonight, and maybe not necessarily a fun one, but you get out of your comfort zone, try some things that are different like this, and you'll learn something too. I mean, this again, we talked how much about this thing being a handful here tonight, but what it's going to do is you're going to learn a little bit more about this car and how much throttle control is needed, even on oval courses. I mean, road courses here tonight, it was very, very light, touchy, feely, to put it up plainly here, because that's exactly how you had to treat the throttle. You had to be very, very careful with the throttle, but maybe it'll give you a little bit more of an idea when it comes to the oval courses coming up for the rest of the season. I want to thank everybody for tuning in here tonight. If you haven't done so yet, hit that like and subscribe to get you in touch with everything that CRN has to offer. We've got plenty of racing. We had the doubleheader tonight. We got our doubleheader tomorrow, as we'll have both CSRL and the Yes Car Series back in action. And then Thursday nights are going to be off for a little bit when it comes to the oval racing, but road racing is back. The GT Series for Core is going to be back this Thursday with a doubleheader to kick it off, as last week we had the storm issues, so we pushed everything back. Doubleheader on Thursday night just for the Core GT Series, but and it's going to be cars that are meant to be on a road course on road courses on Thursday night.
I will be there, but not in the booth.
No, Jimmy will be on the track, so there'll be some laughs as well as some good racing.
Lots of laughs.
All right, well, that is going to do it for us up here in the CRN booth. I've been Carl Handwork, Jimmy Cover joining me as always, and we will see you at the track.